In high school, it was like there was like a veil over me, and the veil was the expectation that felt like was being placed on me to act a certain way, dress a certain way, be a certain way, whatever. And now that I left my hometown and I left high school and I came to college, I feel like that veil has lifted, and it's a cliche that you can reinvent yourself when you go to college, but it really is true because no one knows who you are pretty much, and you can just do your own thing however you want to do it. I have always used art as like an outlet for my expression, and I took a few art classes in high school. They were pretty basic art classes, but I took AP art in senior year of high school, and I think that's when I really started to use art as a form of expressing who I am and what I like and what I find interesting about the world. So content-wise, my art, I think, has stayed pretty much in the same room, if I had an analogy, or maybe the same house, but the rooms are different. And like at first, in junior year of high school, I entered the house and we're in the mudroom and I'm breaching the surface of what I'm interested in. And the stuff that I was making was pretty much like funky, almost psychedelic stuff. And I had an art teacher in high school, the only art teacher in my high school, who did not want any representations of drugs, violence, anything like that. And I remember submitting my AP art final portfolio, and she was like, are you doing drugs? And I literally wasn't at the time. I had literally never smoked before. I wasn't, I don't even think I had a drink yet. And I just remember getting that reaction and being like, oh, that's cool. I like making people mad at me almost. Freshman year of college, I didn't really push any buttons. I made art that was pretty fundamental, but I do remember breaking a few of the rules that my professor gave for me. Anyways, I like making stuff that makes people upset and that almost makes people uncomfortable. And I think now, like I'm in my junior year and I just made a piece about whether or not whoever is speaking in my piece is a virgin. And I make pieces about sex, I make pieces with nudity, and I really enjoy it. And I never would have done that in high school. A, because I don't think I was confident enough to do it, and B, because I think going off of that, knowing that people were going to react, not negatively, but not positively either, to it, would have made me not want to make it. When I make pieces that are about topics that are taboo, it's only natural for people not to want to talk about them, especially in a school setting. Regardless of if it's in an art setting, I think that it's human nature, especially for students, not to want to talk about sex, drugs, violence in a school setting, especially with an authority figure present. I think it's different when students are alone than if there was a teacher present. But that's also why I really like making art about it, because it's forcing people to discuss it in a setting they wouldn't normally talk about being a virgin or not. Like, who wants their professor to say the words, "I'm a virgin, I swear" to them? Maybe some, but but I think that it's natural for people not to want to respond, but I like making people at least get uncomfortable. I don't really care if they don't respond, because I know eventually if they look at it or stare at it enough, they will. And if it's just in their head, that's fine with me. And by not responding, they are responding. And I really do think that a large part of the way that my art has evolved has had to do with my personal growth and how much or how little I am comfortable with certain aspects of myself. So I don't know what the next chapter of my self-growth will be, but I'm sure that is likely where my art will go.